So for step 11, attaching the rear suspension. Well, you can see we're going to grab the rear gearbox and that whole thing that we built earlier. Then we're going to grab the rear suspension that we just built in step 10. And now we're going to use these screw pins along with adding our rear dog bones. And we're going to have to grease up the dog bones themselves. So it's more or less just the pins and the dog bones here. So there is the large pins, the smaller pins, and then of course our rear drive shafts. And then of course there's our back end that we need to attach this all to. So I'll set it up and let's put it together. So I think what we'll do for this is let's grab this one here. So you know that this needs to have the curved piece facing backwards, and that's going to sit there like that. Let's attach that completely first. So we're talking about the BB3s. That is the longer screw. So let's get the screw pins greased up. I'm not going crazy, but I do want to just make sure that it's all covered. And we'll stick that one there just like that. Stick the pin in. There we go. And we'll screw that all the way down. There we go. So there's one done. So let's do the same with the other side, just because. Let's grease up the screw pin again. Just get enough on there so that it's covered. And again, let's grab this. That's going to attach just like that. So let's make sure that that screw pin go on there. And put that in there. There we go. And we'll screw that in place. So there we go. There is the bottom arms in place. So let's move back to working on this side. We know that the dog bone itself needs to be greased up, so let's do that. Let's grease up our dog bone here. Same with the other side. And I mean, you don't have to put too much on. I tend to put in a little bit of extra, but not too much. Stick one in one side, stick one in the other. Make sure that that goes into the other side. Yes, just like that. And then that is going to come down like that. Now, if I can just let it sit for a second, we're going to grab our small screw pin, grease it up, and same thing, hold it back, make sure it goes in the hole. There we go. And now we'll screw it in place. And there we go. So there is one side complete. Very, very cool. So same again on the other side. Let's do this one. So we're going to grease up our screw pin. I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to grease up our dog bone. Just like that, just getting enough on it. Some people do this dry. I tend to not want to do that. I would rather grease it up just as it says in the manual. And let's grab this. We know that's going to go into the drive cup there, and we know that's going to go into the drive shaft on that side. There we go. That's in place. And grab our screw pin and pop it into place just like that, and screw it in all the way. So very cool. There is our rear suspension attached. Love it. And it moves very, very smooth. So everything is moving very nicely, actually. So that means that step 11 is complete. So we are now going to move on to step 12 and attach the rear underguard. So for step 12, attaching the rear underguard, well, you can see that we've got this B9 piece, and then of course this is like the rear bumper as well. These two, the B2s and the B6 piece. So those are the B2 and B6. There's our underguard, and that is the hardware that we need for this step. So I'll set it up and let's put it on. So as you can see, this underguard is going to go over top before we attach anything. So if you look at the way this is going to sit there over top just like that. It's really just going over top of where that hole is and just sitting there. So if I just sort of hold that, I'm moving it off to the side for a second. You can see with this, you can't get these confused, because on this side, you can see you've got a screw hole, but on this side is where the nut is going to go, and you've got the large black area, which if you see on this side, it's not possible. We can't do that. It's only the screw hole. So you know that this is correct for this. So if we put this here, you can see that this is going to go there, and that at the bottom is going to sit just like that on either side. And you can see that this is just going to be one of our tapping screws going through all the way. Now, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to start the process, but I'm not going to screw it in very far. I just want things to be held for the moment. So same thing on the other side. We're going to grab our screw. We're going to grab this, and again, that larger piece is at the bottom. So we know that on the top, it's just going to be the screw. So we'll put that screw in there and in there. And again, I'm just going to screw this in just a bit, just to keep it in place. And then on the bottom, you can see that we've got the long screw that's essentially going to go in through there, all the way through to the other side. Come on. There we go. Right through to the other side, and it's going to be held on by this lock nut. So if I put that lock nut inside the hole, you can see just like that, it's in there. Now we've got something to screw this screw into. So once I can get it to grab, there we go, I can feel it grabbing. I'm going to screw it in now, all the way. There we go, it's nice and tight, it's at the end. So all that's left is screwing these ones in all the way now. Same thing on the other side. And there we go. But you can see that this bottom plate is left somewhat open for now. And that may come into play later, but you can see that we've got screws that are probably going to go into these two holes at a later date. But that's essentially what this looks like at this stage. We've got our rear bumper on, and we've got that undercover on as well. So that means that step 12 is complete. So now we're going to move on to step 13 and start working on the front uprights.